Hello, this is Todd Shank from Premier FPL. I'm going to be doing my Game Week 15 Fantasy Premier League tips and previews here now. Um, so starting out, I do have my Fantasy Premier League Fixtures Planner updated from Game Week 15 up through 25, as you can see here. Um, yeah, so that should be set all through the new year and all the way up through January. But we're going to be talking about Game Week 15 and also doing a little bit of prep work looking ahead. So going here. So currently my team is made up of Elliott and De Gea as my goalkeepers. Um, Elliott is mainly there soaking up some space. Did not play last weekend. Doesn't look like he will be continuing to play, but I don't really have the funds to move him out. He's saving me some money, so not really planning to move him, especially with De Gea. He's nailed on to start and still at the top of goalkeepers for scoring, despite his 1 point in midweek. And I don't know how he's really going to do these next 2 weeks against Arsenal and City. I mean, if anything, I could see United keeping clean sheets in both and having them both be very dour 0-0 draws. Really, the only other way I see them going is United losing 1 or 2-0. City could be more, but could easily see Arsenal pulling off a 1-0 home victory over them. Which also leads to Lukaku. I know he picked up an assist in midweek, but I don't like the way that he's been playing lately, and going up against Arsenal and City next, he's known to not score against top teams. And of course, this will probably be the time where he does score, comes out with some crazy hat trick or something in both matches while I end up getting rid of him. But that is my plan, to drop Lukaku. And I'm actually thinking that I will bring in. It's really kind of a toss-up for me whether I want to bring in Kane or Aguero. I will have the funds to do either one of them. So, say I do add Kane here, that still leaves me with 0.1 in the bank. I could take a -4 and make another move somewhere. Even if I did say bring in Aguero, that would leave me some room to play here in midfield if I wanted to do some changes there. I would not be at all surprised to see Sane start and Sterling on the bench this weekend. So that is a move. Could possibly even do something like Sane, take that hit there. But what I'll probably do is stick with Sterling and then put Kane in there. The thing about Kane is, of his 10 Premier League goals this season, 7 of them have been on the road, and they are traveling to Watford. And Watford is a team. Take a look here. At home, Watford has allowed 15 goals this season. They did just give up the 4 goals to United in midweek, so if there's a time for Liverpool to really start to turn things around, or not Liverpool, sorry, Tottenham, if there's a time for Tottenham to turn things around, it is going to be against Watford away. Tottenham's road record here, 13 goals on the road, which is actually more than they've scored at home. So Tottenham is one of the teams that I am banking on for this week. Yeah, so again, going back here, looking at the fixtures, the teams that I am really backing for this weekend are Chelsea, Crystal Palace and Huddersfield, Everton are the two kind of like mid-tier teams if you're looking to save some extra cash there. Those are 2 of the teams that I'm backing. Liverpool. Leicester City is a tough one because of Burnley, but could easily see Leicester getting a goal in there. But anyways, going back, Liverpool and Man City, definitely backing their attacks. Chelsea's attack. and Tottenham. So those are kind of the big ones that I'm looking at backing for this weekend. West Brom could, I don't know, they haven't had much attacking firepower at all this season. Rondon, has had a few goals here and there, so if you want to back him, you could always go with him. I'll have to take a look at my daily fantasy team here, see if I want to do anything there. But that's a player that you could look at picking up. Let's see what he is actually here. So Rondon 6.0, that's not terrible. Callum Wilson is in the same bracket there, and with Bournemouth playing Southampton at home, there's a good chance that he gets a goal in that one. It's not like Southampton has been really keeping teams out this season. Allowed 17 goals. So, yeah, not really a team that has been defensively solid this season. So I'm planning to keep Callum Wilson in there. Just debating whether or not I'll have him starting. I will probably look at doing a 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, one of those two. Maybe do a 3-4-3 and keep Callum Wilson in there. With Tom Carroll sitting on the bench for me. Swansea, their attack has been pretty much awful. Don't see them going anywhere. So, but coming up against Stoke is a team sitting here just above relegation, but only barely. And let's see, Stoke at home has given up 14 goals this season. Swansea on the road scored 3, which is just one more than they've scored at home, anyways. Yeah, who knows? I'm backing Stoke for a win in that match just because of the way Swansea has been this season. But that is one of those that really could go either way just because of the way the two teams have been playing lately. Swansea almost held on against Chelsea in midweek, but just eventually Chelsea was able to wear them down. So yeah. If you're looking for some other defenders, Christensen is one that I've heard talked about. Chelsea does have these good set of fixtures coming up here. Quite a solid run up until New Year's Day of fixtures for them. Newcastle home is a great chance for them to get goals and a clean sheet, so Christensen's a good one. If you want to even look at bringing in Courtois and goal, he's really been doing a fantastic job back there. So Scott Dan is another one for Crystal Palace. I do like Crystal Palace's fixtures here, and it looks like they are starting to turn things around, starting to get some goals, starting to be a little more defensively solid. Against West Brom away, it's with Pardew coming back to West Brom, or going to West Brom, that'll be a very interesting one to see what he does there. At least with Pulis, you thought that maybe there'd be some defensive solidity. I don't know that there's even a thought of that with Pardew, so I am definitely backing Crystal Palace in that one. Yeah, the midfield, I did hear some talk about the midfield template, and I've got a little bit of that going on here. I have not picked up Salah. Wish I would have, the way that he played in midweek and the way that Hazard did not. But he is one that could be in for rotation this weekend. Let's look here at Liverpool's upcoming fixtures here. So they play Brighton this weekend and then Spartak Moscow. They basically have that group won, so it could be quite possible that he does play this weekend and then is benched against Spartak Moscow. But another alternative to that is actually that he sits on the bench this weekend, maybe comes in as a substitute, and also sits on the bench against Spartak Moscow just to prepare for this Liverpool derby coming up here in 2 weeks' time. That would be a big one. I'm sure that Klopp will want him well rested for that match. So I will not be surprised to see him sit this weekend and in the midweek. Um, but at the same time, if you have him in your team, no sense in dropping him now. Again, the main thing here is just trying to make sure you do have a solid bench when you're playing here, especially coming up with these Christmas fixtures. I thought I had a pretty solid bench, but then I had Lowton go down injured, and he was not able to start. Not that that really would have helped me out. You can always watch my week 14, my game week 14 review video to see how my team did last week. Was not pretty. I'll give you that much. So, I think that pretty much wraps it up for the official game here. The I don't know. It's really tough when you get down to it this time of year. I'm not planning on giving up by any means, but it's really hard. I dropped 500,000 places in game week 14. I had finally cracked the top million, and then had Azpilicueta and Hazard, my two latest transfers in, end up sitting on the bench with Hazard as my captain, then coming in for 9 minutes to totally, well, not that my extra 2 points from Carroll would have made a difference, but again, it's good to I at least had players that played come in off of my bench, so that was definitely a nice thing there. All right, I'm going to move on to daily fantasy here, and I'm actually going to go through and pick my team. I'm doing the free game here on fantasyxl.com. If you go to the blog, you can sign up with the Fantasy XL there for the affiliate link there. All right, so I'm gonna start out here. I'm actually gonna start out with City, with Man City here. Take a look at some. Definitely want. Now this is the tough part. Who to go with? Do you want to go with Aguero here? Played the full 90 in midweek, or Jesus, who did play 73 minutes. It's a tough one. I think I'm actually going to go with Gabriel here. And then in midfield, I'm going to go with Sane. I think that there's a bigger chance of him starting this weekend and Sterling on the bench. So I'm going to go with Sane and Jesus. Jesus is slightly cheaper here, so that's the main reason I'm going to go for him. Defense, I'm actually thinking about Crystal Palace defense here. Going up against, sort by points, going up against West Brom, it's a good chance for them to get some solid points in there. Scott Dan not doing so well in Fantasy XL. Maybe some other formats, he might be a good pick here. Yeah, just trying to think who I would even want from them. Sacco might be a good pick here. Yeah, I might come back to them. And let's see. Sorry, I have to think here what the fixtures are again. I took a look at them earlier, but don't have them fully memorized. Everton is actually a team I'm thinking about backing. So take a look at their forward options. For forward options, I like the way that that Calvert-Lewin has been playing. Has looked really good. Wayne Rooney and his new role here might be a good pick. A little bit on the high end there, and actually he's one I'll get to for some of these other formats. I don't think I'm not ready to recommend him as a pick for the official game, just because of in the official game you're really reliant on goals, and he is not always going to be scoring goals, despite his midweek hat trick. I don't know that that's really going to be something happening every week. But I'll stick Calvert-Lewin in there for now. It's a little high for his price there, but we'll leave him in there for now. I think Hazard is definitely going to be coming back for this weekend. I'm going to avoid Salah just because I do think that there's a chance he'll be rested for this weekend. But what I really need to do is find some... Yeah, their attacking options are pretty terrible. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is a good one. Good price there. The problem is this format might not be the best place for him. But I think there's a good chance he'll be in amongst the goals this weekend. I have to think who I picked as my clean sheets for this weekend. Burnley a chance there. Everton possible chance. I don't think there's really going to be a whole lot of clean sheets coming this weekend. Burnley is certainly the best chance, and I know everybody kind of sticks with them for clean sheets here, but I mean there is a very good reason for that. So I'm actually going to stick them in there. Try all teams. Slide this way down here. I think I might do, it's a toss-up, 3-5-2, 3-4-3. I don't want to do more than 3 at the back. Huddersfield might be a good pick here. On the road against Everton. Might hold on for a clean sheet in that one. See if I can find some Southampton. Alright. Southampton defender or goalkeepers. See, the thing about Burnley is the price is just so hard to avoid going with them. Ugh. And then you get into some of these bigger teams, and price tag is really hard to justify. All right, now the big question is, I'm not going to go with Kane up front. I think I might try to do a 3-5-2, get some more. I think there's better options here in midfield. Again, Richarlison, can't really go wrong with him. Decore had the goal midweek. The problem with Richarlison in this format is he is a forward, but 5.4, that's a tough one to really avoid. I think I might actually go with Decore too. Try to back Watford for some goals against Tottenham. Since they are at home there, definitely a good chance at getting goals in that match. 8.6 left that I have to spread. I just have to pick up one defender. I do Kolasinac? No, not really. I don't really want to go with any Arsenal or United players. So one thought I had about Lukaku, one of the reasons I am going to drop him in the official game is, as a United supporter, I don't want to have my day kind of won or lost for myself based on how he does in his fantasy scoring. Yeah, I would much rather have it be a situation where I can just kind of sit back, relax, watch the match. If he scores, great. If he doesn't score, oh well. But not have it be so dependent on, oh, come on, Lukaku, you gotta score, you gotta score. But just so that I get those points. All right, so going back to this, I think I want to find a Chelsea. Yeah, definitely no Chelsea. All teams. It might be a situation where I do have to go with someone like Kolasinac. You know what? Well, see again, I don't really want to root against United in these situations either. I'm not going with Loughton. I already have my 3 Burnley players here anyway. Charlie Daniels might be an okay one at home to Southampton, but Both Southampton and Bournemouth are so hit or miss this season. Alderweireld would be great if he weren't injured. Um, just to kind of speed things along, just kind of move along here, I think I will try to spread things around a little bit. I am going to go with Charlie Daniels. Maybe he'll get a goal, and we will enter that contest. All right. My Taga team, I got a lot of work to do here, but there's not a whole lot of things to do. I did pick up Lamina in midweek. I have Calvert-Lewin, going to plan on starting him. Bakayoko didn't play in midweek, but I think he should return for the weekend. Same thing with Tadic. Um, he's one that I did pick up, got a few points from him in here, and then he was sat in midweek. Like it says here, most likely rested. I think he will be back for Sunday, so I'm going to leave him in my starting lineup. Nice thing about Taga is you can change your team right up, I think, about 2 minutes before kickoff. So hopefully I can try to stay on top of that. Yeah, Rojo didn't play so well. Got the -3 for giving up a penalty in midweek, but yeah, I really don't like having those matchups. But I think I'm actually going to leave that the way it is. Moving on to draftfantasyfootball.co.uk. All right, what do I want to do here? I don't know. I think that I actually like my team the way it is. Let's go to pitch view. Move Richarlison back in. I think I'm going to stick with Sané. Oh, that reminds me. I really do need to check out. I haven't been on too much, haven't had much time this morning to check out Twitter, check out some of these other things. So this would be a good time to look through here. Sané out, illness, potential return is on the 3rd, so that would be this weekend. Looks like he should be back. I'm going to leave him in. Davis and Lanzini are the two that I've thought about getting out of there, especially Lanzini. I thought he was one of the bright spots in West Ham, and then he missed that penalty in midweek, and I just don't want any West Ham players on my team. They are pretty terrible. Now the question is, who can I actually bring in? With my team here, I can have one player from each team, and it's a matter of trying to narrow that down. Again, I want players that are going to be able to come in if somebody else is sat. Need guys on the bench who are going to be playing. Do I have any? Oh, of course I have Kane. Might look at Sermon for Bournemouth, just because he's always in there among the points. That's kind of like their big midfield player. Could do Richie, and then try to get Lascelles out of there. So if I drop Lascelles, try to bring someone else in there, options are kind of limited about who I would want. Because, yeah, if I did that, maybe try to find a Bournemouth defender. I think I already have, I have Mawson from Swansea. Yeah, Lascelles being injured has kind of ruined that for me. Steve Cook from Bournemouth. Probably be easier. Steve Cook or Adam Smith here. I think I'll add Cook for Lascelles. Trade. Got that moved out. And then I want to do Newcastle. Midfield. Add Richie. Drop Lanzini. Oh, do not want to drop Charlison. That would be terrible. So Lanzini for Richie. All right, there we go. Okay, get back to my team here. All right. I definitely want Richarlison in, probably for Davis. So Kane, Rashford, Richarlison. I think Rashford should get some playing time this weekend since he didn't get nearly as much during midweek. A lot of rotation going on there, but I think Rashford will be getting some playing time. It's a toss up here. I mean, defense options here aren't all that great. Um, it's a matter of whether I want to go with Lowe or Cook. I don't think I. Well, I mean, again, Swansea Stoke. Who knows? But I think I would rather go with same thing with Everton. I think I'm happy with this team the way it is. I'm gonna leave it. Yep, gonna leave it the way it is. All right, so I think that pretty much wraps up my game week 15 fantasy Premier League tips. Yeah, like I said, the big teams that I'm backing for this week: Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, and Tottenham. I think Watford has some goals in them. Crystal Palace, Everton, Huddersfield. That'll be an interesting one to see where that goes. Everton look better in midweek, but I don't know. I don't know if that's really a fluke or if they actually have their confidence back, knowing that Allardyce is going to come in. It's really going to hinge. I think a lot is going to hinge on how things go this first weekend, whether he really can turn things around or if it's just going to be, just kind of an awful restart to their season, more or less. The United Arsenal match should be. I really don't know what to say about that. I really think it's going to be a pretty awful match. 0-0, maybe 1-0 to Arsenal. I have a hard time seeing United scoring in that one just because of the way I've noticed in recent weeks he's really gone with kind of that five at the back, three central defenders, and then the two kind of fullbacks with Young and Valencia. I definitely does not trust Young defensively, but I think he still wants to have that semblance of an attacking threat with him down the wings. Same thing with Valencia, although Valencia's defense is much better. And yeah, I guess we'll see. Let's see if there's an update on whether Matic is going to be back. Late fitness test, 25%. That's a tough one. So yeah, that lineup is going to be very interesting to see who he puts out there. Fellaini looks like he is out too, so kind of limited as far as his defensive midfielder options go. So it'll most likely be Herrera and Pogba, which means Pogba will probably be back fairly deep. Could probably see kind of a Rashford Lingard out there on the wide midfield areas, and then Lukaku kind of all alone. So another good reason to not play Lukaku this weekend. Without Matic in there, he's going to have Pogba sitting pretty deep and going to try to have these guys in there that are going to, put in a shift. Somebody that's going to run around a lot, get tackles in like Lingard, and even Rashford, who, at least in the past, has done more of that than Martial has done. So, and then even on the Arsenal side, if you look at some of those matchups there, Arsenal's looked a lot better defensively lately. I think I covered that last week. Arsenal's defense looking much better. Clean sheet, clean sheet, clean sheet, clean sheet. Gave up 3 goals to Man City, but then another clean sheet in there. They're looking much more solid defensively. So looking at Kolasinac. I have to think who they even have. Monreal, Bellerin, and Mustafi. Mustafi is another one to look at too. So anyway, I think that should